I'm gonna tell you what I noticed, but don't let me, or don't make it a religion, but don't let me make it a religion too, right? It's just something I inferred throughout, well, not throughout, but like taken from different facets throughout time, different civilizations saying the same thing, right? Because I know you can understand how that's possible. I'm not trying to say that any one culture made this first or anything, but Imhotep, right? The sound of it, right? Imhotep means hello, right? Teho, no, it's Tio Mahalo. Mahalo means thank you, right? Uh, but you know how it sounds different? Teo, Tao, Taoism. Taoism is people proclaim it to be a magical system, but it works because it's not borrowing from magical reservoirs, or, like, you know what I mean? It's not borrowing from a and it is energetic levels, and the way that energy is uh, modified, transmodiated, like it has to change and adapt to a different resonating field. How you resonate, right? The Djed is about accumulation, absorbance, and resonate principle. You get an energy symbol from it, and it's what the electrician uses to ground electricity, inferring that one is feminine and one is masculine. the letter, it's a catalyst, right? And at the bottom of it, it's just a T. It's a T, and the top is like there's no one less broken line symbolism, right? And you can break it down and come up with other energetic symbolism fields dealing with it, like like the I Ching and stuff. But Teo to Taoism. I'm not saying that you should go and study the Taoism from some guru either. I'm just saying that the Taoism is the red, white, and blue magic, and that is the Gullah Geechee, their pre-Diluvian Typhonian section from Tamare, from Egypt, right? From Nubia, because I can't say that they lived in the Horn before they migrated or anything. Okay, so it's like bringing the the constellation energies rise in the east and settle in the west, settling in the west. Like Genghis Khan, and Amaru Khan, right? American, right? Oh, Imhotep, Teo, Mahalo, not Loy. I fucked it up. Mahalo. Oh my god, they probably hate that. Did you say Mahaloy? Psh, video over. They hate you. I don't know. I guess I'm Amish. I guess I'm a elite a Levite or something. So Levites sounds like Leviathan. How come it's, but that's supposed to be bad. There's something in all of their names that applies to Set, Typhon, Suit on, Shaitan, Saturn, where it's not a bad thing. Because I know a lot of Cambodian people would be offended if you said Saturn meant a bad word. Because cow Saturn and Nai Saturn and all the other cows and Nai. So, apart from cow and Nai, they got American names, but they have prefixes and suffixes. So it's like a Seichan, Seichao, Saturn, Saturn. You know what I mean? And their lineage to, I don't want to say exactly where, because I got to be careful. I don't know that far. I don't know that far. But you know that it's pre-Diluvian, Typhonian. So you can see why there's some shared linguistics, like in etymology, it's not consistent or sustaining, or maybe not explainable how it got there. And then you're just like, oh, there's etymology. I don't know what to do with, but there it is, right? How can you justify that you're saying this and you're saying that? But it's just the sound of a word, like Imhotep, then the red, white, and blue Tao, Taoism, the red, white, and blue Tao. It's just like, and then, you know what I mean? Like it's going west, you know what I mean? Amaru Khan, Teo Mahalo. It's the same people. Those are the same people. I know. I'm not saying anybody who invented it first. It's the same people. What the fuck are you talking about? Every your offshoots in the same Neoplatonic, the same Neoplatonism or something. And you don't always have to be Neoplatonism. Everything is not. You know what I mean? I'm being very generalistic. Maybe we're looking for a resplendent value in the Neoplatonic euphemisms and in some of the plays and on music, you know what I mean? And Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know. And it's not the same thing as the gatekeeper from the Hellraiser or something like that, or Ghostbusters or something, you know? It's not glorifying Satan. Satan. Satan, Set, Shat. It's like you shat. It's like basically the fertility rites, and shit is cancer. Shit is cancer. But cancer is not a bad thing. It's a constellation energy. It just in some, if you apply this to anatomy, it means something is blocked. Something is blocked and you can't cleanse. So you're not getting rejuvenation. You're not getting recharged in your sleep or something, like, you know what I mean? So in a rehab situation, they have to speak to the blockage. That would be getting rehabilitation. Precisely. It's not, I mean, because somebody I know tries to use it to cudgel, you know, to imply that maybe you be having thoughts. Are you having thoughts right now? What's going on? Are you okay? Like this kind of thing. Can't understand that I be giving you small bits bite-sized blocks of information in a cohesive, intelligible ways, because you have to practice at doing an activity that where you can take a risk, and that's how you learn. It's kind of like, the only way you can be defeating the purpose is by being toxic. Like, why do you got to unload on somebody or something, and why do you got to go at somebody for their I don't know what for, maybe because they have a position or something like that. Everybody should have a position, and she's telling me she needs relationship therapy, but she doesn't want it because she wants to justify contributing energy into a relationship where the partner has absconded and he's no longer supporting it, but he's like saying, I'm living in your house, I'm not going back to work. This was while he's able. So if he's not able now, you know what I mean? And so he's not asking questions like I am, keeping a notebook, because I need to find out shit like, oh, SSA.gov means Social Security Administration. Okay. So check the website and it tells me the next things. I got to get my birth certificate. I got to get, I have these phone numbers. I had to set up a physical examination. I got to do like this and that, right? Next time we convene, because I'm getting mobility aid support, like should drive me places, and it's not because I can't do it on my own. It's because I have more questions, because the system is not cut and dry. You don't know if you should go on this plan or that plan. You're trying to find out more information, you know what I mean? And it's like, as long as I'm writing it down, she doesn't know that she's being controlled, because I'm going in getting the information that's valuable, even regardless of every other thing that she's telling me about the people who are making an effort to communicate. It all goes into her ability to build relationships and communicate, but she's saying that it's your communication issues and we need to go to relationship therapy first, right? Well, I'm trying to figure out how to set up physical therapy sessions and get on disability, because I cannot be expected to occupy a standing position for long periods of time without special equipment that can disqualify me from my previous work. That I'm not trying to, if I find, because as long as I've been sustaining through cryptos and everything, I don't need to do anything else. So I'm procrastinating to go on disability, even though it's free money. And I don't have to do anything, even though it is enough to continue my standard of living as normal, as without seeing any difference. You know what I mean? It's just that the people that has to evaluate my subsidy don't want to take the time to for me to explain where the money comes from and how much of it is, and as far as like, how come you haven't sold it? And I mean, like, I just got it, and it has to maturate and crystallize. The assets that I have are the means by which to produce the other half of my subsidy. Where do you think the other half of my rent comes from that you're not paying for? Where do you think it comes from? You know what I mean? You could say that I'm filing taxes or not filing taxes, but the point is that it's there. Whether or not I file taxes properly is another bridge and a wholly different concern for another agency. So so they did take the time to let me explain it. It's just that they didn't ever reach a consensus about where it comes from. So every time, like every now and then, they're gonna spook. Like every time my evaluation comes up, they spooked out, and I gotta, and they just, or they need me to repeat. And it's just like a lot of other forms that I fill out, right? I could fill out a stack of forms this thick, and on each of those papers, it's mostly the same information over and over and over again. And reevaluation is like, you know what I mean? I mean, people move, you know? It's like, so as much as people has a turnover rate, everybody else is evaluation is adjusted to the turnover rate of the people that are moving out constantly. And you can't verify where the next money's going to come in. That's just what it is. So I'm getting help about the system from the people who lean on it the most for everything. The reason why she knows stuff like what to look up in a keyword search is I don't know, it's just me that because I don't I've been able to figure out so many things on my own, and it's just like, fuck, I'm not gonna, everything else I was gonna be like, I'm gonna pretend like I don't know. I'm gonna let somebody else that pertains to want to be helpful, and everything they say that they're doing is progressive, to give them a shot at being helpful and being progressive. I'm not telling you I disown you, I don't want to know you or anything like that. But she's going to be like, oh, you think you give me opportunities? You think you do? But you never let me explain that. No. Like, you know what I mean? I tried to get you a car, you know what I mean? But you were talking about how you only have two, your driveway is only long enough for two cars, and you got a junker parked on the street. You have your car, which sometimes you get blocked in by your daughter. Sometimes you get, you know what I mean, blocked in by a guest or something. So every time it's like procuring your little slave niche where you go shopping and you cook things. And if anybody interrupts or tries to interfere with that, she'll try to orchestrate your demise. To try to, you know, and however long, like she's out of the fight, but she's in it now for a pitched battle she can't even understand. It goes beyond her to even understand it. So I have to just wonder how she's doing because she's not processing. So I'm like, geez, that must suck. Like, it's like, how does it feel to not be processing isn't really a question you ask anybody. Talking about like how you justify shit. I mean, I can only go in so many times before there's no meaning to my words or anything. It's like, oh, you're obsessing, but you're asking the same questions. You get the same answers from me. It's like I got the obsession. I get mad because I'm explaining it over and over again. Like, I never heard anything about my sister that was positive from that cuck that you shacked up with. It seemed like he's vicious in every regard. It seemed like he's sabotaged every relationship, including any attempt you have to try to work with him. You shouldn't be worried about bringing people to heal that are making concerted effort that I can't even understand. But it's like you're on two different pages. She's stuck on an emotional level, childish, you know what I mean? And it's kind of transference. Like I have some of the same issue, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I don't want to figure out any stuff on my own anymore. Like I gotta be interactive, like a cosplayer, you know. It's more like you get more energy to follow up. You know, it's nothing really I got to follow up on now. So I was just thinking about getting on disability. You didn't have to turn it into a thing. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? It's just because I'm looking at selling off some cryptos I don't want to sell. So trying to have a conversation with somebody is like, oh, you haven't done anything. It's just looking at avenues. Like, most people aren't supposed to want to go on disability. Like, this just happened. This isn't something that I've been tussling with forever. I just asked you for some, to get some information. Something simple like, what should I look up? You know what I mean? Are you not supposed to talk to your mother? Maybe there's an unwritten law that there's only a few words that you're supposed to actually say to your mom. Can't really be complaining about anything. I mean, you know what I mean? She got you're alive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's somebody else is worse than you. Like, what are you complaining about? And then I'm going to come off this way like a needy, clingy, because there's no way that you would ever want to, pay somebody back if they fronted you. You know what I mean? Come together and figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? Set up the apparatus for you to do transactions, and then you can receive payments and stuff. Oh, I don't want to get it from there. Like, you did something wrong, illegal or something. Like, why did you got to go through crypto? Like, you're trying to hide or something. Like, everything's a crime. No, you seen where the money came from, because I used to ride to work in your car because you were driving to the same city that I wanted to work in. Okay. Redwoods, you want to go to Redwood City? Give you a ride. I'll go to Redwood City with you. Oh, cool. That's saves me about 2 hours of preparation and 3.5 hours of commuting a day at a job that goes for 13.5 hours. You know what I mean? And fucking, just because you weren't slaving away with me doesn't mean that you can't appreciate that that was exhausting, and that's where the money came from. It seems like you're not supportive, but nevertheless, you have to maintain a relationship with, and it's like you just want to be able to say that I'm a good mom or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to be able to say these things like you don't actually want anybody to get out of a condition where you're needed for anything. She has to be needed, or she doesn't want to hear anything about what you doing, because I does that. I support people. Well, you're not supposed to want to support me if I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Okay, so what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? And it's like, fucking, well, I just got the number for the medical center to set up my appointment. I was wondering if next week we can get a ride or something. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm not sure. But I have a therapist that I want you to go see. So maybe we'll get together on this day then you'll go with me, and we'll let the therapist psychoanalyze you, because I need therapy for my relationship that my husband doesn't even want to contribute to. I'm going to go ahead and do it because I wanted this fucking thing to be over with that she's talking about. You know what I mean? I'm assuming that she thinks that these doctors appreciate her making their job to sell drugs when they don't have, drugs doesn't have to sell them, drugs sell themselves. They don't have to work too hard to sell drugs. If they notice that she's trying to do their job for them, that's the point when she gets the therapy. That's when they administer it, because they're just going to tell her why they think that's not the right approach. Because it'll make them look like drug dealers to me. And I don't have to be like, oh, you're just some drug dealers, oh, like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to talk to them professionally the same And they're gonna be like, oh no, motherfucker, you know what's going on. We're not gonna do this. Like, I'm not gonna put my ethics in, you know what I mean, because then I could sue them. If you play your cards right, you can get paper. They're not gonna make it easy for me to fucking sue them because my mother wants to be a consultant and you know, for it doesn't matter how long, she'll be a consultant for 30 years for free. It doesn't have to make sense to you. Like, who would do that? You have to understand the pathology. And it goes all the way back into Beatlemania when she attributes all this victim mentality and everything to not, you know, to like being suppressed, and that suppression comes out of the one to cut loose and tune out and free love and all that kind of stuff. And so her mom threw the Beatle record out the window, and she's like trauma over her Beatles records being thrown out the window by her mom. She was like, who gave you these? Satan? Like, Satan? Did you get it from Satan? It turned out that she was right. She really did get it from Satan. I don't know, is that a cope? You know what I mean? Because I could always fucking, you know, follow up on a number that I just realized that I even thought about that I needed. You know what I mean? It's just to fucking ask them. Like, that's what I mean by help. You're not supposed to want to keep giving the same kind of help, to the same kind of support to somebody who doesn't follow up. But she's got to be condescending because she's trying to justify pouring energy into that relationship. But now, if I keep saying what it is, then I'm obsessed. You're obsessing. So if there's only a couple of things I'm supposed to really be able to convey to a mother, how come there's so many things that she could just fucking convey to me? Oh, by the way, like, and she's not mean in a way that she say it, but she's mean in a way that it's meant. You know what I mean? Because it's like inferring. You know what I mean? Like, she's always got to infer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your father's not this. You know, like, he's not perfect. You know, like it's a process. I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I'm a human and everything. Like, nobody's asking you to fucking validate like this. Why are you telling? Just basically, why are you telling all this shit? And it's because you're doing something that's threatening her being able to facilitate need. It's crippling me. You turn me into a gimp. Like at an early age, I can't use that excuses anymore because I'm grown. But at some point, you can say that at an early age, like, that used to mess me up. You know what I mean? We were always getting ready to go to church. We never left the house, though. She would get into it with somebody. I got a migraine, on the headache. I'm sick. I'm coming under the weather. You know what I mean? Dude, this is all how it's like. This is like, why do we have to keep acting like we're going to church every Sunday? We never get out the door. You always have excuses. Why do you have... My dad never goes to that church. He didn't go to church. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's telling her that you got to go to church. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that nobody supposed to. I'm just saying that maybe we should not go to church then, because we're always acting like we're going to go to church. That's crazy. The percentage ratio of actually getting to church, as far as how much up and getting ready to do it, it was like we got there like 20% of the time. She's not really encouraging. So there's a lot of times I think I'm listening to encouraging words. Persevere, go and study hard, everything. It's like, you weren't supposed to do all that. It's, you know what I mean? Like, but you have to take responsibility, though. You have to get good grades. There's nothing we can do about this. You got to be optimistic about that, even though we know that people are going to institutions to get confused, to get more fucked up and confused. More Confucius societies. Yeah, so I mean, eventually I am gonna do those things, but just because I offered somebody, I didn't even know. I mean, I'm asking for a ride. It's like you don't want to tell me that you don't want to give me a ride anywhere. So you're offering all this help. You know what I mean? And then it's like, fuck, like nobody want to hear about it. If I, I would talk about it to my sister about the way that she is. It's just like, I don't want to hear about more about her. Girls are a little bit more resilient to the mama stuff. They're daddy's little girl. So, do you know what I mean? Like, she had to like set out an alert to everybody that she was gonna fuck him up if anybody said anything about her father. You know what I mean? She was like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I remember her getting berated right next to me for some of the same things that she, you know what I mean? She doesn't really listen to her father. You know what I mean? But if anybody else, you know what I mean, takes him for granted, she'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? It was almost like a little bit domineering, and it's like not the correct way to grieve. So, I mean, for a little while, I can understand it. I can understand that for a little. But after a while, it's like I don't know if I trust that could be the same person anymore. Like, somebody dropped in, took over them, and somebody like one of those life coaching, spirit science, hedge fund manager, something, you know what I mean? Like, something non-government organized political action decided to help her get where she needed to be. And so she thinks that I'm going to interfere with those relationships. And so she's lightweight afraid of me being around because I might say something, or you might be like, you come off weird. So she had to distance herself from family for hedge fund, to work at an Acorn bank. Did you know that banks depend on a lot of public relations? Like, that's financial. Why would you need public relations so much for a financial institution?